Hi, I'm going to show you how to transcode videos to meet a size threshold through the right-click function in File Explorer, and to change its properties through a config file. This is useful for applications like Discord, which have low size limits for their attachments. See, our original file is 14 megabytes large, while only being 12 seconds long, while the output is 3 megabytes for the same size. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to install this in a fresh environment. Here I am in a Windows 11 virtual machine, and all we're going to need is Python, the Handbrake command line executable, and this GitHub repository. So if we click download here on Python, scroll down to the Windows 64 installer, go to Handbrake, and we download this. I'll provide a download link in the description. And the same for this GitHub repository. You just go to code and download zip. Okay, so with everything downloaded, we're first going to install Python. So double click and then add Python to path here. It'll make things a bit easier later, and install now. Okay, so now we're going to want to go into this zip file and extract this folder. Then go back and go into the Handbrake zip file and extract the executable and drag it into the folder we just made. And we're going to want to move this to someplace permanent. I choose the programs file folder in the C drive. So if we just move it here, it can go anywhere and it can be named anything and it will still work fine. Okay, so now we're going to open up a command prompt. So if we just type cmd, and we're going to run it with admin. It's very important. If we get the file path or the folder path that we just made, and we do cd and then type this, you get into the folder. This step is optional. If you don't do this step, you can't encode bitrate to match a file size, so the file size may be bigger than your target that you need it to be. But all the step is typing pip install pywin32 and wait for it to download. Okay, so now we run the first script, and this will change the Windows registry to make it so that we can right click and have things happen. So we're going to type Python and make key.py. If we didn't add Python to path when installing Python, you would have to type out the Python is executable, the Python executable location. So you have to go find that and then type that out and then make key.py. If no errors occur, then that's a successful step. And if we go to a video, we should see, this is Windows 11, you have to click here, click more, and we see these two options, compress video and compress config. We press compress video, it should start going. I'm on a virtual machine right now, so this is taking a bit, but it should work a bit faster on your machine. Transcoding does take a while, so yeah, bear that in mind. And yeah, so we're done transcoding, and we can check the file size, and we can see it's 3 megabytes. And we also have this other option called compress config. We click this. It'll bring up this config file in Notepad, and you can change these 3 options. The first is size target. This is the cap on what you want the video file to be. It's in megabytes, and it's an int, so only in whole numbers. And if you set size target to 0, then it will just default to this bitrate here. And then we have this. This contains all of the extra Handbrake command line environment variables. And you can find the documentation for Handbrake in the GitHub linked here. So you can customize the command however you want. Alright, so I'll just explain the code for people who care about that sort of thing. So we have this first Python file called makekey.py, and all this does is add associations to the Windows registry, which is why it needs to be run in admin. You can't change this without being in admin. So first it adds these 2 keys. The first is to run the script, this script that I'll talk about, and then this is to run the Notepad config file. If we look at the commands, so this command runs Python. This is the path to Python, and then it passes in 2 variables. The path to the Handbrake script, and this %1 equates to the file location of the video that you compress, and then the config command is just calling notepad.exe and then opening up the config file from its directory. And yeah, this second script, handbrake script.py, basically all this does is run the Handbrake executable with these variables. Variables read from the config file here. And then we have this section which calculates what the bitrate should be for the target file size. And so first it gets the metadata, so going to get the length of the video and uses this formula, target size divided by the file length, or the video length. And this is why we need this Win32 dependency, just to read this the metadata. But if you don't have this dependency, then it's just going to it's just not going to run this section, and it's going to use the default values in the config file. Just another thing, if the video is actually quite short in length, the target bitrate calculated is going to be very high, and that's just not necessary, so we actually cap it to 2000. This original video has a bitrate of 10,000, that's why it's so large. And then the output is actually capped at 2000 because it's only 12 seconds long. I think even this video, which is It's about 20 seconds long, 30 megabytes. It's down to 2 kilobytes per second, and is 5 megabytes long. And you can see this is the original compared to the output. Doesn't lose much quality at all. Here I have a more extreme example. So this video is 2 minutes long with a 10,000 kilobytes per second bit rate, and is 145 megabytes large, and with the transcode properties down to 7.4, being the same size, down to 400 bit rate or 500 bit rate, which is pretty low, but at least it fits. Yeah, so this is the original compared to the transcode. So you can definitely see a loss in quality, but it's to be expected, really. But yeah, that's about it. If you want to tweak anything, definitely look into this, changing these variables, and referencing the help page that I will link below. Yeah, thanks.